recently, Meghan McCain decided she was going to blame liberals and play the victim uh, for the existence of Republicans who are anti-vax. So now she's going to go on to say in this next video that there is bad messaging on the part of the White House, Democrats, etc., and that bad messaging is leading Republicans to not get the vaccine. Take a look.
The messaging towards evangelicals and Republicans is, you dumb hillbillies, stay the hell away from me. And I don't think there's any way that's going to convince anyone of anything if that's the messaging coming out of the White House. The messaging on this is absolute garbage towards conservatives and Republicans, and it's getting worse. It's a public health crisis. I agree. We should all be vaccinated. I myself am vaccinated. I have no problem with vaccines, but the messaging is psychotic. A lot of this feels like it's more about control than science. If the vaccine is 94% effective, which we are told by science and the CDC and all smart people that come on the show it is, if the vaccine works, why do we still have to wear masks outdoors? Why do we have to wear masks inside? And that's also part of the messaging problem, because if you get a vaccine and nothing in your life changes, and I still have to wear a mask everywhere and people still have to wear masks everywhere, then there's not, I'm sorry, but like the way human nature works and human beings work is there has to be an impetus and a reason to get vaccinated to get what you want. And I'm horrified by the way people are talking to Republicans right now.
She is horrified by the way people are talking to Republicans. Does she know what's going on in India right now? That there's a massive coronavirus surge that has filled up hospitals. People are dying outside of hospitals. They can't get in. And by the way, the U.S. is hoarding vaccines. And we're not allowing the formulas for those vaccines to go out to other countries so that they can make their own. And yet Meghan McCain is crying about messaging, so-called messaging coming out of the White House that were supposedly, look, I don't know anybody out there, at least in an official, official in power, that is saying, oh my God, hillbillies, Republicans not taking their vaccines, morons. No, I know a lot of regular people are saying that because they are putting us in danger. And that is a dumb thing to do. So, yeah, she is complaining. It is funny. She's like, I can't believe you're so mean to Republicans. Go back a year. Maybe 2 years. Okay. All the way back to 2016. And you could find a lot of Republicans that were the, the fuck your feelings variety? Yeah, the fuck your feelings crowd sure having some feelings. Very strange. Especially how a lot of them, how many of them wanted to sacrifice grandma so they could sit indoors at an Applebee's again during coronavirus. And now, by the way, here's the ironic thing about this entire thing. When presented with the ability to eventually do so, right, in the form of taking the vaccine, you get as many people vaccinated as you can. It's open to everybody 16 and older. Great, everybody gets vaccine, and they get vaccinated. Wait 2 weeks after they do so, and then we can go back to getting back to normal, okay, or somewhere back to normal. No, instead of doing that, they're complaining about liberals being mean. Come on. Sad. Now, out of the substance here, because yes, there is substance. Right now, the CDC is recommending that vaccinated people still, in the presence of unvaccinated people indoors, wear a mask. Now, of course, if you have small gatherings, then you can have a mix of vaxxed and unvaxxed people outdoors. And there's, different recommendations. It's a little bit more stringent if you're inside. They still say, avoid large crowds, vaccinated. But if you're in a small group and you're all vaxxed and you're inside, that's totally fine to not wear a mask. If you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask. Just avoid gigantic gatherings, maskless. This is what the CDC is saying, okay? And I get it. That's for safety's sake. Call it being overly cautious, okay? And that's totally fine. In fact, here's what the CDC is actually saying about this. This is Director Rochelle Walensky. Quote, the CDC cannot provide the specific risk level for every activity in every community, so it is important to consider your own personal situation and the risk to you, your family, and your community before venturing out without a mask. All right, well, look, again, that's sensible advice. Okay, so now the mask requirements are not going to be permanent. The mask requirements will go away once we reach herd immunity, which apparently only happens when at least 70% of the population, the general population, are fully vaccinated. That means the more people who get fully vaccinated, the sooner we can end the mask mandates for everyone, or at least most people other than the most vulnerable. Okay? And so there's that. But now apparently conservatives will look at this and say, well, if I have to wear a mask outside, then why should I get vaccinated? Because it reduces the risk of death if you get it. It's kind of the whole point of a vaccine. The goal of the vaccine is to prevent people from dying or being hospitalized with severe cases of the virus, which you can get if you don't wear a mask. You can also give it to others who are both masked and unmasked. Again, the difference here is people who are vaccinated will be able to fight it off much better than people who are unvaxxed. Also, might cut down on some of the variants that might pop up. But apparently there are people that don't care because for them, it's about me. So it's real big-brained energy coming out here from Meghan McCain. Okay, I mean, all right. That said, Meghan McCain's co-host Sunny Hostin, she's going to weigh in on this, and she's going to pinpoint the source of the problem.
In terms of this messaging, that's the kind of messaging that's coming from Noam. That's the kind of messaging that's coming from Republicans. I mean, Republicans are spreading bad messages to other Republicans. This isn't on the left. I mean, Republicans seem to think that owning the libs is just not wearing a mask. I mean, Tucker Carlson and Fox News are actually questioning the efficacy of the vaccine on one night and then telling people to go up to other people and confront them and telling them to take off their masks. The reason people can't take off their masks is because the variant is spreading amongst all those Republicans and white evangelicals that are refusing to get vaccinated. That's what the problem is in terms of messaging. It's not on the left. It's not on Democrats. It's on Republican to Republican. It's on Fox News. It's on all the misinformation.
So, nailed it. She's absolutely right. Republicans are owning the libs by refusing masks and vaccines. They're owning themselves. And that's really it. Dying to own the libs when there's literally a vaccine that is free to get. For fuck's sake. They're literally giving out free medication. And I can understand why members of the Black community are a little nervous at this because of things like Tuskegee and all that. And look, to be fair, to give Meghan McCain a little bit of credit, she did mention that in some communities, there is that vaccine hesitancy because of things that the government has traditionally done to marginalized and minority communities. Totally 100% fair to point that out. And it is totally 100% fair for those populations to be vaccine hesitant. That is not who we're talking about. We are talking about, again, white conservative Republicans that are like, oh, no, man, I'm going to take no goddamn vaccine. I would just want to go to Applebee's and yell at the staff and tip them very, very poorly. And then I want to make them take off their masks so I can see if they're attractive enough to give a larger tip. That's what I'm going to do. This is a problem, okay? And the same people are like, no, you know what? Instead of getting a vaccine, I'd rather die on a ventilator. Because at least, the libs. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. They're the reason that some people are calling those people dumb. And, well, I will include myself in that because I am calling them dumb. It's because of how they're acting. They're being dumb. They're acting dumb. And ironically, the thing that they're screaming about the most is for us to get back to a thing of normality on this, a state of, hey, we're getting back to normal. We can open stuff up. We can start doing things again once we get enough people vaccinated. Well, they're inhibiting that effort, the thing that they want the most. So it kind of makes me think that they don't want to just open up. They just want to open up and let people die because it is impacting minority communities more than other communities. And so, it's affecting those people. So I really don't care. And I'm not going to get the vaccine because whatever, insert conspiracy theory. Okay. The New York Times, by the way, is reporting, and this is disastrous. Okay. That as a result of all this, vaccine hesitancy is so high as a result of Republicans that we might not hit herd immunity. Meaning COVID is here to stay. And we'll just have to hope that as a result of this, I mean, you know, of course they've talked about COVID being a seasonal thing anyway. But at least when you have herd immunity, it makes it so that it's, you know, less likely to stay around and eventually peters out, maybe even dies out or whatever. Now we have to hope that when it comes back, that it doesn't mutate into, I don't know, the zombie plague or something like that. We have to hope now that what we're doing is enough. It's ridiculous. I don't want to have to do that. And you know what? I also don't want to have to wear masks. I want to eat inside of an Applebee's. And the way that we can do that is to get vaccinated. It is free. I mean, again, you've already paid for it through your taxes. Why not take it while it's available before they ultimately do jack up the price on it? Because they will. And so the only people that you're owning is, by not getting the vaccine, is yourself. And if you don't want to be called stupid, I've got news for you. Then stop being stupid. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.